Great learning experience.
Award-winning actor.
Great bit of crack.
Yup. Ow. So the cast and crew are pretty much all my mates. We're very good mates. We've known each other since we were kids, and we've been doing the same thing since we were about 10. We've been making movies, and I said to them, "Look, I'm actually going to make a series for them this time. I want to try and make it professional as fuck." And they said, "Yeah, grand, yeah, let's do it." That's literally how it went.
I think we were finished college. He had written the script and he asked me if I wanted to be the cameraman, and I said yep, and the rest is history.
Well, I mean, I got involved in the lads because I unfortunately had the pleasure of going to school with Ian for, how long have I known him? 13 years. So when you've got friends like that, you got to do them favours because you don't know how they're going to retaliate to you if you don't do favours for them.
I met Ian on Penny Dreadful in 2015, I think, on set, and he asked me would I get involved. He had a project coming up. He has lined up. He was pretty ambitious about it, and I said, "Yeah, sounds good."
Ian approached me one day and said, "As you own a couple of suits, would you mind dressing up and being in a scene?" So I said, "Yeah, sure, why not?" He said he was just making a small film. I had no idea that, once I finished the small little office scene that he wanted me to do, that he was then going to go, any chance you could come back in a few weeks' time and do another scene? And so it evolved like that.
I don't actually remember how I struck up any kind of conversation or started to get to know him, but we did anyway, and I think it was because he was absolutely nuts. I was drawn to him a little bit because he was off the wall, and we got chatting, and whenever we were in work we'd have a chat, and then one day he just said, "I have this project coming up, if you'd be interested in coming on and doing some of the stunts on it." I said, "Yeah, sounds good." We were all learning the ropes of the trade and trying to get involved more, and it was a good opportunity for us to all kind of learn an awful lot more about what we were trying to do.
A normal day on set would be, I'd get up, say we're shooting for 10, I'd get up and meet Ian at 9 to find out he's shit in Mark's bin, and then you'd go off and do your day of filming, and you'd get back to Mark's house to find the house stinking of shit because there was shit in the bin.
Night before, I text every single crew member. I'd say, "We're meeting here at this spot at this time to do this." The next morning, I'd wake up, I'd get all the gear, I'd drive around to every person's house, collect them.
We'd get all the equipment we need, just like microphones, poles, goujon rolls.
We would arrive wherever the location was. We'd talk shy for a while.
And then we would go through the script, we would go through the scenes, we'd probably rehearse quite a bit actually before we started shooting.
And then we'd wait for Joe to tell us that we're ready. And then Joe would tell Ian that he's ready, and then Ian would start shouting at people. And that's when we knew we were about to start filming, because you could hear Ian screaming.
You'd beg for tea or a coffee. Where are the biscuits? Chocolate biscuits for the star? Once you got that, things settled down, and then it was, okay, we're going to shoot, and all of a sudden it was, the messing stopped.
Dave, you looked at me.
Sick.
Each scene, because there was only one camera, would be taken up to 10 times, for taking all the different angles. It was a learning curve. I'd never done any acting before or anything. And then of course it would be cut, and then the laughing and the messing would start again. And
What you reckon? Yeah, it's a terrible movie, man. Terrible. Yeah, that was good.
A lot of lightheartedness and jokes being told, but at the same time, everybody wanted to get the project done. You know?
And then yeah, we just shoot for at least, I'd say we shoot, most days we shot for about 5-6 hours. And then with people getting hungry,
Some of this stuff.
Only the best thanks angles. This is. Oh, you know what's next.
that in there, lads.
Punch that mofo. You're gonna have to pick that up.
Probably go and get goujons for dinner as well, and that was an average day on set, I'd say. The soundtrack for The Lads is a hip hop ensemble of pure grit and determination from a group of homeward go-getters that you just can't falter.
Most of the music, normally I'd start off, I get a kind of a melody or a loop, and I get the vibe of it, then fit everything else around it, the bass line, the drums, whether it be boom bap or trap. And with The Lads, most of us kind of boom bap, old school hip hop. And the thing that's kind of interesting about that was, it was very nearly the first film to ever come out with an Irish hip hop soundtrack. Two other films, or one other film at least anyway, slightly beat us to the punch, but The Lads was already being filmed and in the process of being made before I believe they started filming. So it was only that we were all doing it on a voluntary basis that took longer to get everything, the final product finished, come together. But it was very nearly a historic moment, the first of its kind, and still in many ways was.
Nah, so weird face.
Children. As I think I'm possibly the eldest person in the film.
I'd say work around them more really. You know, I was kind of carrying the whole project myself.
Joe Reid doesn't get enough credit for what he does. He's always behind the camera. He has a great eye, very cooperative.
Joe is an awesome cameraman, very quiet, knows what he wants to see, and sometimes he keeps Ian in check.
If the sound is off, he'll tell you it's wrong, so at least you'll know, not have to listen to it back on the edit. He's taking it seriously, he's listening.
He was on sound for the whole thing, and he's the most chilled out person on set. He's a great person to have around. He doesn't complain, he just does it, you know. It's great.
Funny man, difficult man sometimes, but he done his job and he done it well, so that's all you can ask.
Hey, what's up?
What are you doing today? Come on.
I'm taking pictures for that club shite prick over there.
Right, let me just point to him.
Yeah.
This
yeah,
one.
Yeah.
This one.
Yeah.
So he went from every day he'd have his camera with him, he was taking pictures of behind the scenes footage, same thing, he'd be recording videos for us. With the likes of Blood, he'd get involved with helping with blood and makeup effects. All the props, he'd done all the props. He was Jeffrey's stand-in and body double. He is in the film actually about 6 or 7 times. At the end of the film, he's the henchman doing the big fight scene with Jeffrey. He's in the costume.
He's a top man. He'll just show up and he'll do what you ask him, and he won't complain. And he's just available. I think the world of Dale, and I think he's brilliant, to be honest.
Can I turn that off now?
No.
That won't fit where I want to put it.
I met Dave few years ago, he was my friend, dad, and every time I talked to him, I don't know what it was, I just would laugh. No matter what he said, even if it wasn't a joke, whatever, he was just naturally funny. Old fashioned, very dry sense of humour.
Go again, you're smiling.
You started laughing first.
No, I fucking didn't. You started laughing.
And I remember one day I was writing a script, and I was like, I just had down boss. And I remember reading any bit of dialogue, anytime I was writing it, I just had his voice in my head. I just kept thinking, I was like, right, I'm just gonna chance ask him. So I bumped into him one time, and I just said, how are you? I'm doing a movie. I know you've never acted before, but would you be up for doing it?
You okay, yeah?
Stupid fucking question.
It was good fun. I did find myself slipping into the father figure every now and again. If there was bad language being used, getting them to bless themselves and to say sorry God and things like that. But no, it all worked very well.
No, you look straight at me there.
When Dave first came in his cute little baggy suit, we thought, what is this guy going to be like? Is he going to be able to really keep up to the level that we're on? And then after 2 scenes, we were like, no, he's fucking not. He's shite.
Lie back. Lie back and we
Get a bit closer. Jeffrey, I think he stole the show as FIONN. Every time anyone's talked to me about the lads, all they talk about was, your man, Jeffrey, your man who plays FIONN, he's deadly, he's this and he's that. So Jeffrey done a great job, and hats off to him.
That look. Rough night, Jeff.
I'd agree with that, you know, for sure. Like, and the scenes that I was in with him, he wasn't in his head, you know, and it seemed to just come out very naturally for him, you know. He would have the script down, he'd have the lines down, and what came out wasn't pushed, and it worked, you know. So very easy to work with, and yeah, he was a good dude.
Just for someone who had no background in acting or never seemed to want to aspire to be an actor, he was just naturally good, and that's what I hear more than anything about the lads, is that people really liked Jeffrey in the movie and just thought he was brilliant and hilarious, and he was.
Look at me being Ian.
I mean Adams, I mean.
Oh, I think I'm fucking Batman. Look at me. Why am I doing my own accent?
Hennessy is a lunatic.
Hennessy's always up for a laugh.
An absolute pleasure. I had fun every day except when I didn't have fun.
Sometimes he's a bit loud and he's in my ear and I want to knock him out, but he is very good at acting. He's one of my good mates I've known for years.
He'd done a bit of acting before, so yeah, he was a breeze to work with. He was probably a little bit more on the ball than people with less experience, and he had ideas. He would try things. If it worked, it worked. If it didn't, it didn't, and you need that from actors.
Yo, I didn't catch on that, but no, it worked. Okay. Adam was supposed to come on just to do stunts, but I needed someone to be a bad guy, and he had the most beautiful blue eyes I'd ever seen in my life.
That was my first acting kind of, it's an introduction into acting, you know. Ian asked me originally to come on as to help out with some stunts, to do some fight stuff, and I was like, yeah, cool, sounds like fun. And then he just handed me a script and he was like, right, you're gonna do this. I was like, am I?
It looked deadly, those bright blue eyes, and he looked creepy as fuck. You couldn't see his face, you never seen his face, everyone was like, who's that? But you just recognised the eyes. He was a great bad guy, hats off, and that was his first time acting as well. Hats off to him, he's done a solid job.
Ian Adams is a complex character.
Jesus, Ian. Yeah, not an easy man to work with.
Some days he's buying you goujons, the next day he's eating your goujons.
It was very easy, you know. I see him as a mate, to be fair, you know, and when we're working together, we respect each other's boundaries and roles, and there's no crossing, you know, so it's very easy working with him. And
You know, if someone has an idea, he'll say, okay, let's talk about it. He'll go through it, and then if it fits his vision for the movie, he'll be like, oh yeah, okay, let's try that. And if it doesn't, he'll say, I hear what you're saying, that's a good idea, but it's not what I want for this. This is not where I wanted to go. So he doesn't just shut people down and say, nah, don't have that.
He might be a stern operator, but when he gets into his furious tempers, you have to make sure the equipment's safe, because I've seen him kick cameras into the sky before.
through the madness of him, he somehow still knows exactly what shots he needs to get every day, and he gets them. And it's worth mentioning that he wouldn't get them without Joe, for sure. You know, Joe has the patience to listen to Ian, because you need patience, you know, but you have them because you know he has it.
But no, communication with Ian was good, you know. I'd listen to him, do what he asked. If I had any ideas, I would input. And we always got there at the end of the day, so I think it was a good relationship overall. Absolute noise. It's pretty stressful actually, because I'd never shot a fight scene before, and you've got these two professional stuntmen coming down and kind of feel out of your depths.
Ian gave everybody like the freedom to work with themselves, to be creative.
And we just ran things by him, asked him the questions, asked him what he wanted, and he knew what he wanted, and he this and he this and he this. But it's up to you to, you know, it's up to your creative side to make this happen. But I want these elements.
I wanted a fight thing to look dirty, and so I wanted to feel it whenever someone's hitting it, and that's exactly what the both of them gave me. They made that happen, you know. And all the fight scenes and the punches, I was just like, wow.
The lads didn't really know much, to be fair. So they needed a bit of coaching, they needed a bit of help, and that's where Dave came in.
We would arrive, check out the location, make sure it was as safe as possible, take out any like really big hazards, sharp things or things that would break.
So explain, Dave, why are we taking these out?
So Ian doesn't smash his head off it.
Aww,
I wanted to leave it there, but
We'd go through the choreography. Well, what if this happens? What if that doesn't work? That doesn't read on camera.
And if I was going off and one saying, I want to throw him through that wall there, I want to throw him through that window, he'd be like, yeah man, can't do that.
Then we would rehearse slow motion, slow motion, slow motion, slow motion, and that would just build a blueprint in everyone's mind of what they were going to do, where they had to be, all that kind of stuff. And then we would just increase the speed and intensity until it was good enough to be shot on camera.
It's not so much a fight, it is a dance. I describe it as a ballet, because you're learning your moves and you're gracefully moving through the space with your partner. And even though it looks like you're hitting and scrapping and fighting, you're just caressing them through the air and safely not hurting each other, while making it look like you're hurting each other. And that's the key difference.
So we'd have to kind of think on the fly and organise some choreography, you know, with a basic idea of what we wanted to achieve. But then we'd have to actually come up with the choreography on the day and then rehearse that and then shoot it. And it was just lots of crack. Loads of crack.
There was one day when we were out filming and I was kind of behind the camera just making sure everything was going to be right to fit to the music, because that was the real main important part of it. And we actually had a pregnant woman working, and just there and then her waters broke and she went into labour. So everyone else started panicking, you know, they didn't know what to do. So I just got down and delivered that baby right there. I took her in my arms, I looked down and I said, I'm going to call you Diamond. And handed back to her.
The running scene where they insulted me, would I be able to do it? At the end of it, they were panting, I wasn't. I suppose where I'm being assaulted, physically assaulted, and Mr. Adams did seem to be enjoying doing it a bit too much, but that was good fun.
The best memory I have from filming is whenever we were doing stunts, Dave Boyle would use me as like his little fucking puppet.
you fucking cunt.
So if he was like so he say he has the cast and he's like, listen lads, it's a very dangerous stunt, someone get hurt, right? So Ian, come here for a sec. So I'd walk over and Dave just stand there for a minute. I was like, what? Just stand there, and Dave just go. And I have a lot of footage of this happening. So pretty much anytime Dave was there, I was just getting bait. That's my favourite memory because I remember it because it hurt and it was funny.
I would say filming the fight in the toilet was the funniest, one of the funniest, but definitely up there with, like, not only the fight itself but just the whole day for some reason was very, very funny. Adam and I were told just you know, say whatever you want, you know, just whatever comes to you, and we were shouting abuse at the lads.
You ever touch his missus again, he's gonna kill you.
And it just was so funny, we couldn't stop laughing because you'd say something absolutely mental and then everyone would kind of stop and go, did you just say that?
This is my secret, they don't touch his missus. That's his missus. You fucking idiot.
The day of the last fight when Jeffrey kneed Dale in the head by accident and it made the final cut.
Yeah, that was a real face kick there, like.
Totally by accident. And initially we were like, oh no. He was alright, and then we had a little laugh after that. That was a funny memory as well though.
I had to stand in. We had a Chicken the sound man was meant to stand in and be the man pissing on Dave and Hennessy, but he didn't show up, so I had to run home and get a shirt and kind of jump into the deep end there. But people loved it, people thought it was hilarious, so that's probably my best memory.
It was quite a buzz. The big screen, the sound, and seeing yourself on screen.
Delighted. People laughed. Some people got emotional at the end with Jeffrey.
So when we were there on the night, I was really amazed to see all the crack that we had had, and admittedly all the days that you've gone, oh, for fuck's sake, to be down here again. But when you saw it all up on the screen in the cinema, you were like, yeah, that's not bad. You know, feel a great sense of accomplishment.
One girl told me that she had started to cry, which is, you know, if you can do that, that's a great thing, as well as the laughter. So I was absolutely delighted with it, to be honest.
I was expecting it to come out well, but I think the way it all came together in the end, and again, like, helped by that scene with the DJ, it just, you know, I was very happy with it.
I mean, as I say, at the start it was, could I do one small scene? And that went, well, would you be available for another? And it was only sort of where the last scenes you're realising, I'm going to be in this film a good bit.
For Ian to have this idea that he wanted to make a film, not only did he have the idea, but then he had the drive to go, I'm going to make it and I'm going to put it on in the cinema. And he did it. You know, so while we were filming, he was saying, you know, oh, you know, I'm going to get this, we put it on in the cinema, and I'm kind of going, really?
You know, I've always, since I was a kid, I've always wanted to make films, put them in the cinema, and just enjoy it. And I've done that, and I've done it with my childhood mates.
Whether he knew how to do it or not at the time, he knew he was going to do it. And I really admire him for that, because he knew, like, this is what I'm doing. If you want to help, cool. If you don't want to help, I don't want to know you. If you're not going to help, I don't care. Don't tell me that I'm not going to do it.
The way it all came together for him on the night was great. So mainly just like, yeah, just fair play to him. That's really how I felt.
It was something I never dreamt I'd ever be doing, acting or anything. So, you know, being your early 50s and all of a sudden you're up on the silver screen, it was a good feeling.
And the same thing future-wise, like, this is just the first of many projects, and I hope in about 20, 30 years that we're all still doing this. You know, whoever would like to still be involved, but I just think it'd be great in 20, 30 years I'll still be making movies with my mates, we're getting paid and we're just having a crack. It's going to be great to look back on in a few years. You know, I've made a lot of great memories with a lot of great people, and I'm very happy with that, you know.